Hello everybody, this is Dedra with Papercrafts and Planners, and I wanted to share with you something that I've been receiving for the last couple of months that I'm really enjoying. And it is the Spellbinders Die Club. And these are different die kits that come to you monthly. You can also purchase them separately, and I'll give you kind of a little information about that. First, I'm going to show you what came in the club kits for the last 2 months that I received. And then I will show you some projects I made with them and some items that I think you want to have on hand that really make it a lot easier, and a few little tips to go along with it. Okay, so first, this is the June club for the small die kit, and it is called Kaleidoscope Trio, and there are 10 pieces to this. This is the one I haven't used yet. However, when I was on YouTube the other day, Jennifer McGuire has a video using this, several projects that she made, and they're of course gorgeous because it's Jennifer McGuire, right? And now I want to use it, so I'm going to get around to doing that. But I will link to her video too so you can see that. On the backs of these, they always have a project that they have made. Also, if you go to spellbinderspaperarts.com/clubs, there are tutorials and how-tos there as well. And so they're going to tell you the supplies they used to make this exact card. And then they're going to walk you through it with pictures. Not a lot of detail on this, but pictures. They also have a YouTube channel where they're going to be making different things with their dies. So down at the bottom, each die is listed, and it is the inches and centimeters for each, which is a nice thing to have. So there's that one. If you purchase this as the club, it is $12.50 for the small. You can purchase it at a higher price point after the month is over. So now that it's July, you could get this Kaleidoscope Trio while supplies last at a little slightly higher price point. I'm not sure for the small dies what the higher price point is. This is the large die that was for, this is July. Let me show you June first, so I kind of stick together. So this is the June one, which is called the Festive Wreaths Slider Card, and I've made this, and so pretty. Anyway, it's got 21 pieces to it. It is $25 if you purchase it at the club price, if you subscribe to the club. It is $30 now if you still wanted it after the club month is over. If you purchase the small and large together, they have a club that's both together, it's $30 for both, which is what I did. It's the best deal. Okay, on the back, look at the project for this one. They've used the stars and the red, white, and blue to make this slider card. So pretty. And you can see you can use it all throughout the year. It's got all these different seasonal elements. The snowflakes, the little Easter eggs, and the bunny, and it's got some birthday balloons and strings. It's got the flowers, which is what I, of course, went to right away. Some stars and hearts, and it's got 2 Easter bunnies. I just noticed that because I'm slow like that. And it's got the acorn and the fall leaves, and it's got this little high. And then it's got all the pieces to make the slider element and to make this circle element that they used. Really, really cute. Okay, so this is July. Let's show you the small die for the club in July is this dog and cat. And it's got a grass element. It's called Besties Forever, and there are 12 pieces. And it spells out the Besties Forever with these words. It's got this little fish bone. Oh my gosh, so cute. And a little dog bone, and all the pieces to layer to make the collar and the whiskers and the grass. It's just so cute. And here's the project that they made with it. And again, I made a project with this one too that I'll show you. And then last but not least, this is the 3D Fun Time Cruiser. And it makes a bicycle or a tricycle if you're going to do it dimensional. You're going to do a 3D. And again, it's got all these accessories with the leaves and the little stems and the flowers. It's just, and this little plate here would say Fun Times if you die cut it. Just so cute. And here's the project they made, or they're showing, is the Celebrate 3D Collapsible Card. Is that not too cute? I mean, I put together a project and I used a lot of flowers and put the bicycle together and the dog and the cat. It took me half a day. It was, for one thing, it was my first time using it. And for another thing, there are a lot of little pieces. And if you made this 3D collapsible card for somebody, you really like them because it's going to take a long time for you to make, especially the first time. But let me show you the projects, and I'll give you some tips to kind of make it a little bit easier that I kind of learned as I went. Okay, so first project is that slider card, the wreath slider card, and it goes up like this. You've got a place to write, but look at that. How pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I used the Flower Market papers from Cartabella / Echo Park, and I'll link to those too. That's what all these papers are. Used a solid color of pink for the back. And then I started to say I used all different color paper, but really I used all different shades of pink on this one. And then I love this green. This is Fresh Sage from Pen Stamper's Journey. I really love that color. Okay, so there's that one. And then I made this card, and I just put besties on it and some glitter paper. But look at all, I've made a lot of dimension on this card. It's not a three-dimensional card. I'm not going to do that, but I did make it pop up in places. And I used the dog and the cat and the bicycle pieces all together on this. So I used 2 die sets together. This piece of paper was just a pack that I bought from Tuesday Morning that had stripes and dots. And I don't even remember what the company is, but you know, when you go to Tuesday Morning, you just get the things that appeal to you, and you never know what's going to be there when you go back. So if I find the pack and I find who makes it, I'll link it below though. So these are I really loved the way these came together and how cute they were. Oh, and I used Google Eyes on this just because I wanted to. Okay, first thing that I really came in handy when I was doing this is this Wendy Vecchi. It is called the Make Art Station, and it's with Wendy Vecchi and Ranger. This is a magnetic ruler. Really came in handy to hold things in place. These are magnets that go on the board. They came in handy, and let me show you why. I was cutting out flowers and different things, and I didn't know how many I was going to want of each die, how many leaves, how many flowers. So I put the dies on these little magnets to hold them in place as I was working so they didn't get lost among the chaos, and I didn't have to try to get them to stick back on this sheet. I will be putting these on magnetic sheets before I store them away, but this is how they come. I wanted to show you that. And they just have a little piece of tape behind them, so I didn't want to keep going back and forth. This was great. As I made the flowers and different things, because this is a grid with 1/4-inch markings, I was able to sort of lay it out as I put my flowers together, and I could kind of see, okay, I think I need 2 more pink ones for this card here to go in this spot. So you see what I'm saying? I could kind of lay it out and get a good idea of how it was going to look on my card. And so I really enjoyed that. I love this. I will link to it below. I purchased mine on scrapbook.com. I have not seen it at Michael's, but it may show up at Michael's soon, but I purchased it on scrapbook.com, so I will link to that. Okay, I think you need some adhesive that has a thin tip for these small pieces. And this one I love. This is from Art Glitter. Excuse me, and it dries clear. It is permanent, water-based, non-toxic, and it's acid-free, so you can use it around photos. And it comes with a stainless steel pin that goes back in. So you know how your glue can get clogged in the tip and you have to use a pin all the time to unstick it? If you just remember to put this back in each time, you're good to go. I have lost this on my craft desk before, but it has this dark colored, really big ball to the top, and so it was easy enough to find. I really love this. And you can see how bad mine looks. Pretty soon it won't have anything on it at all because I now buy the refill and just keep refilling the same small bottle. Nuvo also has a thinner tip like this. It does not say it's acid free, so I don't think you can use this around photos, but it does dry clear just like the Art Glitter glue. Okay, so that's good to have too. Another thing, let me start from this side so I don't forget anything. This Post-it note tape by 3M. When you are making this, and I'm going to make a detailed one where I put a card together like a fall theme, but when you are making this, first you cut this out solid color, which is the back piece, right? Then you have to cut it out again to get that front piece that does the pop-up feature. And so you can see it moves around in here, and you really want to tape it down so that you've got an even space to all the way around, and you're getting this cut evenly. Also, it's nice to have for some of these little pieces. I used a lot of my scraps up. So I had some scrap pieces of pink. Of course I did. And so I would tape this down in place on that pink paper so that it didn't get off the paper as it went through the machine. And which will happen with your die cutting machines, even if you have the magnetic block, the magnetic plate, it can still happen. So this is really nice to have. This is something that they use in nail salons, and that's what it's intended for. It can pick up little pieces of bling, little pieces of paper. You know, they put the little jewels on your nails. But I use it for paper. I used it even for the little googly eyes. It comes in a pack with several. It's inexpensive. I purchased it on Amazon. And they're not sharpened. You just sharpen it, the tip, and then use it. It's really great to have. I know there are other little sticky tools. This is just the ones that I use. Some detailed shears. This comes in handy, and I'll show you in a minute what I definitely use these for. These are my close to my heart, which I happen to love. I also have some Fun Stampers Journey ones that are really good. They're just my two favorite brands of these detail shears because the adhesive won't stick to them. They're just good quality. Okay, this is the double-sided tape, the paper tape, whatever you call it. For this, I don't have a special brand that I use. I will use whatever is the most economical for me. I purchased this on, sometimes I'll find it Tuesday morning, but I purchased this on Amazon in a set that comes with different widths because I use different widths for different things. For this slider card, you have to adhere the back to the front. You don't want the adhesive to interfere with this going up and down, so you want a skinnier piece. I layered up two. You also need a skinny piece where this attaches to the slider, the piece that slides up and down. And again, I'm going to do a tutorial for this card. So, but this comes, you can get it 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, which this is 1/2 an inch. I think it goes all the way up to like 6-inch rolls that you can use if you're doing some big boxes and things like that. So that's good to have. This is my bloom tool. I use it all the time. It is invaluable for getting these little bitty die cuts out. So you've got this little flower. You want to get these little circles out that are the centers that I use for the centers of the flowers. They're not going to come out when you die cut. I can almost guarantee. If they do, they're gone someplace and you're looking for them. But you can come back in and just use this pick from behind. This is the portion of it I use the most, but it has different tips and interchange. This is the one for creasing when you're using with your crease tools or crease boards. Scoreboards. Yeah, that's the word. You can see on this little bunny that it has little holes. So the same thing, you can do that from behind. So the bunny, the snowflakes, the little Easter eggs, they all have little holes for you to poke the paper out. Because if you were trying to dig the paper out, even with your fingernail or some scissors or something, you're probably going to bend it. Having a tool like this is just great if you're going to do a lot of die cutting. Okay. These little dots, these adhesive dots, glue dots, they are really nice to have. And I know you can't see them, but they're on this paper because they're clear. They come in smaller and larger sizes. And I think to put down some of these things that you don't want to risk your glue leaking around the sides, because even though it dries clear, it doesn't necessarily dry invisible. It's still shiny. You could still see it. So those are great to have. These are great to have. These are dimensionals. So for this, I popped up the tires. I popped up the the cat a little bit, but the dog mostly. And I use these. And here's why I use these little scissors. Because behind that tire, I'm not going to put this full square, even the small one. It'll show. So I just slice them to the size I want. These, again, I get as inexpensively as possible. I don't worry about a name brand because I haven't found the quality varies from company to company on these. They come in circles, squares, black, white, whatever works best for your project, and I have a lot of different ones. Okay. I think that's all for tools that I think you should have on hand. Now for a few tips. For this dog and this cat, they're all these little pieces, right? I didn't want to glue each piece individually on my card, especially this one that I stuck on the dimensionals, because I didn't want them to shift around on me or anything. So what I did was I took a piece of white square, a little square of white paper, and I put all the pieces of my dog down on there. I wanted the ears to kind of stick up on one side, and that kind of thing. And so I glued it all down on there. I also used white tip to put some little dots on him. And then I cut the whole thing out before I put it on my card. I did the same thing with the cat because it's sticking on top of these flowers, even though I don't really have the dimensionals behind it. So it's just nice to do that. I found it really helpful to do it. Okay. Let's see. What else did I do that was, okay, on this, you see how it's got this half circle. And again, I'm going to do a video on this one because there's just too much to go into detail. It's got the half circle and you hook them together. I cut this out 4 times because I wanted mine to be pretty sturdy because it sticks up like that. So that's another tip for you. Yeah, so I think that's basically it for these. Cutting the dimensionals, making sure you can lay it out on a grid. Those are all really, really helpful to be able to do with these little bitty dies. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some great ideas. And I will link to everything that I used below, especially if you're interested in joining the club. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Happy crafting.